Welcome all as we congregate to the greatest toy line in community, ever growing, ever changing. As we collect and adapt these figures to our own imaginations and embrace the fun, there's much to learn, especially if you're new to Mythics. Hey, what's happening, everybody? This is episode 17 of New to Mythics. We are joined today by Randall Austin, who is literally new to Mythics. And I appreciate you taking the time on a Sunday night, man. How are you doing?
Absolutely doing great, Greg. It's exciting to be on the episodes because I've been watching them since day one, and I enjoy listening to everybody's story and what goes into it. I love the concept of the show, and things have been really good. I'm down in Tallahassee, Florida, so I'm not hiding my location or anything. And as some of your viewers might recognize, your first guest, which was Mark Thomas, also the Saturday Morning Toy Collector. And he lives right down the road from me, about 30 minutes away in town, just as, it takes traffic and everything. But yeah, so everything's been really good lately.
Awesome. Mark is such a great dude. I remember meeting him last year at Legion's Con. I told the story already, but he's holding a 2-pack of these exclusive figures. And I think he was looking for a place to sit, but the lobby is you'll find out the lobby is jammed with so many people, and there's couches and tables. So he was kind of like a lost little boy, looking around. He's got his toy, and I'm like, hey man, come sit over here. Come sit over here. I was at a table, and he came and sat down, and hey, I'm Greg, I'm Mark, and I'm like, what you got there? What you got there? And he had opened it, and we were both checking it out, and we kind of bonded and started talking, and we had a lot of stuff in common and stuff.
I remember that story. So I didn't go to Legion's Con with Mark at the time. I didn't know what Legion's Con was, and it's funny you say he looked like a lost little boy, because that's exactly what I pictured when he told me about you. So it's interesting because you got your side of the story, and I've got Mark's side of the story telling me about you. And he sounded like a lost little boy, and but he talked about this guy named Greg. And he just kept going on, and we were just talking. I was like, okay. I was like, well, what? I didn't quite understand what he's talking about, but he just kept going on, and he told me a couple of the other stories that went along with it. And then, when I went to that Atlanta Toy Convention, or Toy Atlanta, and then I talked to you on the phone, it all made sense. I realized who you were and where you came into that picture.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's the day Mark's life really changed in that sense. So it was really neat being on that side of the story, and then hearing you tell the same story. And
it was fun. It's overwhelming the first time you go. There's just so much going on with the sales, but you almost feel like it's like a family reunion, but you're just got married into the family, or you're like the cousin that I'll tag along, and you're just oh crap, there's so much going on, and everyone seems to know each other, but everyone's cool. It's like a big party, but not rowdy. It's a little rowdy, but it's just a fun. It's just a fun congregation of like-minded good people that love the toy line and are just good friends with each other. We have a connecting thing of these figures, and friendships are made, and that's what happened with me and Mark. And so me and Mark's friendship begat my friendship with you. And,
right.
I'm grateful. Like in my philosophy is I can never have too many friends. If you have friends, you'll never be alone. You'll never be, you know, down and out. So I'm
Absolutely.
grateful to be friends with you.
Yeah.
So let's go back. Let's go back to the beginning. For people that don't know, that haven't watched any of these episodes, I like to hear people's stories about what they started collecting, and then I think everyone's story is unique about how they were introduced into this toy community. But I also like to hear about how some people kind of use the toys, how they get like a creative outlet for it, and that's something that I'll be picking your brain on, because I've heard a few stories about you being creative also
Mm-hmm.
in this toy line. So when you were young Randall on the streets, what was some of the figures that you were interested in when you were a kid?
You know, I'm 45, so that means that I grew up in the 80s. Like
It's the
my
best time.
prime collection time was 85 to 90. So right around Transformers G1, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and all that stuff. And I grew up in Alaska, and we were at Fort Richardson Army Air Force or Army Base next to Elmendorf. And in Alaska in the 80s, everything cost astronomically higher.
I could imagine.
And so anything I got was from a thrift store. And, gosh, we went to a thrift store and I had like a lot of Star Wars, 1984, that kind of stuff. And, but I remember, you know, getting Transformers. My parents would go to like Fred Meyer's, Montgomery Ward's, and we'd get I remember I had Astro Train, and I can't remember half of them. Astro Train was a triple changer. My brother got Blitzwing. We got two of the Dinobots, and we had quite a collection. Sorry, I just had something come in. Oh, okay, something from Sideshow of all things. So my first big collections came in when my dad had to go to Augusta, Georgia, Fort Gordon for some kind of training. They call it ANOC, BNOC, something like that. It stands for something. When he went, he came back and he bought a whole suitcase full of not Transformers,
Oh wow.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Well, it seemed like it was probably like 5 each, because what you were getting in the 80s was Alaska was charging $10 or more for a Donatello. That's what I wanted, and my brother wanted Leonardo, and he got him for like $5, so half the price. So he brought him back, and that's really where the election, or not the election, sorry, the addiction to action figures started. So, and we would get random things throughout the years. GI Joe. I had the Cobra Rattler.
Oh, I've always wanted that.
Yeah, did you see Hasbro Pulse's?
Yes.
Oh my God, I'm thinking about going after that one. But yeah, it started with really Transformers G1 and then Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And the G1s were made of metal. They were amazing.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I got the Triceratops one, Slag. I think that was his name, Slag or Slug. I broke him, as most kids did, with the plastic, side or anything. And then that's kind of where it all started. And then we moved to Augusta, Georgia, Fort Gordon in 90, and that's where it stopped. Things were different, money was tight, and we were adapting to a new lifestyle. So, we went from cold to hot, and then we didn't collect anything. We just had our toys.
Yeah.
But
I think
go ahead.
I was gonna say, like I was kind of the same way in that, you would get a good toy or figure or something for your birthday, or a gift, that would come, or Christmas or something like that. So there was kind of dry spells in between, but I think that those dry spells really made you appreciate what you had.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had talked to a few other people on the show about it didn't matter when you're a kid, the scale, He-Mans could fight, against GI Joes, or what I mean.
Yes.
It was like, it wasn't, sectars were fighting, Star Wars or something.
Oh,
So
we had all the sectars. They were amazing.
great. They were very
Yes,
cool. I only had one
yeah,
and I loved it.
we had that was one thing. I guess Montgomery Ward had a bunch of them,
Mhm.
and or AFES, the military. My
Did you have
mom
the
bought a bunch of the. Yeah, I remember they had the.
I
I
love
still
that.
have them. They're
It's like a
somewhere in.
glove.
Yeah, they're in Augusta somewhere, and with my mom, and yeah, that, and we had another toy called Constructs or Constructs. I don't know if
Yeah,
you
I
remember
remember
that.
those.
Yeah, I still have those brand new in box. My mom won't let me have those because she knows I'll sell them on eBay, and I will. So, he's right about that.
That's
But
cool
yeah,
though that your dad kind of supported, he would bring you guys home toys and stuff. And I
yeah,
remember vaguely my dad would do that occasionally, but not too often. But I love that.
yeah. It was God, my dad would help us with everything, or my mom too. She was all about it. And I think my dad helped me, figure out how to do the Transformers and everything. And my mom, she was very familiar with the lines. She liked them too. I think she secretly liked the action figures and the toys as well. She thought they were just so cool.
Mhm.
And she'd never seen anything like it, I'm sure, until she got older. So
Right. Yeah, the Transformers were pretty damn complex
yeah,
back
weren't they?
then. Yeah, I remember trying to transform it, and you didn't want to force it, but they could be kind of complex to transform them.
Oh man, they were.
Yeah.
They were.
So would you say that that was your favorite toy line growing up, or
uh
at that age you
at
would?
that age, I think really I was there with the hype for the Ninja Turtles, and it was really the Ninja Turtles that was probably my all-time favorite.
Mhm.
Looking back, I think as an adult, the G1 Transformers were my favorite. Are now because I'm like they were so much cooler, so much, different. But yeah, as a kid, it was the Turtles.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So you said you took a break after the Turtles for a while, or was there just a gap in between you picking up?
I guess we just took a break. I don't know what it was. I don't even know. I just know like my sixth grade summer, I found a movie called Star Wars on
I
VHS.
don't know if I've heard of that before.
I watched.
I'll have to Google it.
I think I watched the trilogy 3 times or 11 times that summer. We were on an army base. It was hot in
Mhm.
Georgia, and I fell in love with it. And then my parents and family knew, oh, okay, you're going to get R2 is what my family calls me. Uh, and it's no coincidence. It's R2D2. That's when I started getting a bunch of Star Wars figure. The
Mhm.
Power of the Force and all that was coming out, and I mean, I was getting loaded down with everything. It was really cool. And
Yeah.
then I got to high school, about ninth, 10th grade. I kind of got a little fatigued, and then I stopped.
Mhm.
And I didn't collect again until I met a certain someone,
Mhm.
and that's the Saturday morning toy collector, Mark Thomas.
So
And
he
that,
got you back into collecting figures?
yeah, it is interesting. So me and Mark, we've known each other since 2007, and Mark was a big collector, and he had Hot Toys. God, he must have had 40 of them.
These things are so expensive.
Yeah, and I was like, dude, like at first I didn't know what they were, and he would tell me about them. And then one day I went to his house, and I was like, what? I was like, what is this? And the price, I was like, I'm not going to do that price, so I didn't buy him. But Mark, had a lot of that stuff, and um, we would always talk comics, we would talk movies. Avengers was out, and we did a little podcast of our own. We were on like iTunes, that type of podcast, and
Cool.
we called it Young Grown Ups, which was really cool. And we had another guy doing it with us, and we did some stuff. And at some point, I don't know when it happened, maybe a few years down the line, 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago, who knows. I went out toy hunting with Mark, and I think it was right at the time we did like a before he did Saturday Morning Toy Collector. It was something else, and I can't remember the name. I used to be on a show regularly.
Was it
Um,
a Star Wars
yeah,
topic?
It was a Star Wars.
Yeah.
A couple guys they recognized me. They're like, "Oh, it's the old crew," and you know, and we started toy hunting. And anytime I went toy hunting with Mark, I just get caught up in the fever, start buying and
Yes.
buying and buying,
Yeah.
and that's what happened. And then I spent like 150, 200, and that's just going to Walmart and Target. And
So do you remember the first kind of toy line that you got reintroduced that really piqued your interest?
yeah, it was Star Wars Black Series.
Mhm.
I've been a big fan. So one thing I always bought before I got heavier into the collecting was Star Wars Black Series helmets. I love Star Wars helmets, and I started
I do
buying a
too.
lot of them. Yeah, they're amazing. They fit great. I've got the Halo Chief, I'm sorry, Halo Master Chief helmet, which
Mhm.
fits amazing. Like, I'm not 2 meters tall, so they scaled it down. Looks great. They
Mhm.
display great. I've got, Darth Vader, First Order Trooper, Red 5, all that stuff. Trapper Wolf. And I actually had to slow down because they started producing so fast. I couldn't keep up with it. But I would buy that. And then the Black Series, I started buying some of those along with a few wrestling figures. If it said like first edition or something like that, I picked it up. And
Yeah.
pretty much, if Mark pointed at it, it's like, oh, this is cool. I kind of picked it up. And
Mhm.
before I knew it, I had too much. It was just,
Yeah.
I was just dropping some serious cash.
I'm always
So,
curious about like what it is within us that that keeps us or compels us to collect. Like
yeah.
whatever it is, whether it's, whether it's china plates, whether it's, bottle caps, whether it's, license plates from other states, or action figures. What is it about the human psyche that makes us, collect, and it makes us happy to have this, surround ourselves, like me with my stupid room of figures. What is it about it that makes you like I come in here and I just recharge myself.
hmm
You know what I mean? Like it just makes me happy to be in here with all my stuff. And I just wonder what that is. Like I wish I could, like understand my own, why 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 do I collect? What is it that it's doing, like psychologically, that makes me happy? How is that? You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
just curious about
I
that.
absolutely do, and I've wondered the same thing. You know, it's funny. Everybody collects something somehow, some
Mhm.
way. Uh, I sell on eBay, and I used to sell action figures. Back and forth a lot. And I finally sold all the ones I'm going to sell, so I don't sell anymore. I sell clothes. It's called, a touch of vintage finds. A little shout out to myself. I think I'm going to change it to Mr. A's closet at some
There
point.
you go. There you go.
Um, because I want to get back into action figure selling as well. But
Well, don't sell that shirt though.
oh no, no, this is a classic. This
There you
one's
go.
gonna
Oh, there
be
you go.
this one's going to Legion's Con with me.
That's
It's
right, buddy.
got
That's right.
two guys I love,
T-shirts
and
available.
yeah, it's available. You get it real quick,
That's right.
and great packaging. For all those people who want good packaging, it makes a difference. Even
Absolutely.
on eBay
Absolutely.
when I sell presentation. But yeah, I love the shirt. Fits great. I'm an XXL, and it fits perfectly with a little room for us bigger guys. So
That's right. That's right.
and yeah, so I think it's great. Looking for the polo or maybe a little embroidered.
That's a good idea. That's a good
Yeah.
idea. I think you mentioned that. You asked me, and I'm like, polo, and I'm like, I never thought about that, but I'm like,
Yeah,
maybe
it's a
I'll look
great way to
into that.
go
I'll
and do
look
a little
into that.
custom, get their name, like you can do Saturday morning toy collector on the back or something.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yes. Yeah,
but
he needs more merchandise for sure.
oh man, after I got this, we were talking. He's like, "Hey, have you bought a shirt from Greg yet?" I was like, "Dude, I bought it while you were driving and we're going up to Stone Mountain." I was like, "Of course I bought it." I was like,
I
and
appreciate
I
it.
was
Thank
like,
you.
I
Thank
would
you.
have
Thank
wore
you.
the Saturday morning toy collector shirt. I was like, but I don't see it.
Yeah, he
So,
needs to get on that.
yeah.
It's weird. Like he drew a logo for me, but he doesn't have a logo for himself. I mean,
You
he's
know,
got his logo, but it's like we need that handsome face on there. We need a
I
mark
think it's
logo.
it's always tough when you're doing something for yourself. You go through different things. Uh, but when somebody else asks you to do it, there's some kind of motivation there that is
Mhm.
just intrinsic. Like you're just gonna,
It's the giving.
yeah, it's the giving part, and you
Yeah.
do get a little, I guess a little, a little endorphin rush maybe, or
Mhm.
something like that. And then when you think about yourself, there's a lot of vulnerability that has to happen
Mhm.
before you can, give to yourself in that
Absolutely.
way. You go through a lot of different things. Um, Actually, and we were talking about collecting and what makes people, what drives them. It's interesting on eBay. I sell mostly clothes, but like people. One of the craziest things I sold was a Santa soap dispenser, and I tell this story all the time because I think it really shows that people connect with these items in some way or some form, and
Absolutely.
even the most random thing, is like $1 at the Dollar Tree is where I got it a long time ago, and even on eBay, I sold this Beatles, sorry, not Beatles, the Ramones book,
Mhm.
and I got a message back from a guy in London, and we talked about it through the messaging, and I learned that he was actually at the Ramones show, and he just talked a good few paragraphs, just really friendly, just about how much they meant to him and how that book connected,
Absolutely.
and I've had a few others that connect with me, and I think too with action figures, what drives us to collect. I think there's some kind of connection, be it physical. Some guys play with their action figures, and no judgment. I mean, like I do it too.
Right.
So some guys, it connects. I mean, to somebody they know, maybe
Yeah.
mom, maybe dad, maybe their kids. I know I
Mhm.
see some of the guys, they on the cabal, they have their kids collecting
Yes.
with them,
Absolutely.
right? I think our collections come from. I've heard this thing like, oh, we had this need to gather, and I think it goes a little deeper. I think it goes to the idea of connection with something,
Right.
and that's
Something that we have in common.
yeah, for
Like-minded people collecting something that we enjoy,
right.
and it connects us socially.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's one of the beauties of collecting or searching. I like the customization aspect. I like kit bashing. I like buying other people's customs. I've got a few examples here.
Mhm.
I like customizing myself. And one thing I like about it is that when you custom or you see somebody's custom or somebody customs for you, you get a part of them in that action figure.
Right. It's their
Or
creativity. They
yeah,
harness their creativity.
or it's something that they connect with, something that means something to them. Something like I have this one. I'll show you. This is one that the Saturday Morning Toy Collector did. He put it on the Cabal. This guy, and you know, he said this one was inspired by me, and the color choice was absolutely amazing. And in this little guy here, like I've got a piece of Mark with me
Mm,
everywhere I go with whatever he
absolutely.
was feeling at that time. So it's a
Right.
very vulnerable piece, I think,
Mhm.
which makes it like more valuable than
Right. I agree.
yeah. And you see, this, I'll share this one with you too. I met Matt Stein over at in Stone Mountain, and he did this guy. Oops, sorry.
That's
Um,
okay. Oh, I love that. Yeah.
yeah, he um, it's
Yeah.
a Xylernian guard body, type with dwarf legs. Still got the sold tag on it. Beautiful cape, and he custom the head. And when you look at it, you get the idea that it was inspired by a certain movie,
Mhm.
and that movie was Lord of the Rings.
Mhm.
Matt wrote a really awesome message about how he was so, he had that doubt of putting his stuff out there to sell. Like, that's his, his personal work went into it.
Hmm.
And, if you get a chance on the Cabal, go read it. Because he went deep on it, I felt. And here, not only do I have, the writer, was it the writers of Rohirrim or something, in, one of my favorite, you know, color schemes and movies, but I also have a part of Matt Stein now with me forever,
Right. Right.
and whatever his inspiration was. And, to do that head, I think, and to put it all together, he had to really like open himself up. You have to be vulnerable when you're creative.
Absolutely. I agree. Yeah,
Yeah.
because you're creating something and then putting it out there for public consumption, and
Right.
you don't know if people are going to hate it or criticize it or, belittle it or,
Hmm.
so it's like, here, I made this, and I'm proud of it, here.
Yeah.
And, you hope that, people will be, positive and, constructive and, enjoy it and, so that
Right.
that is a vulnerable thing.
Absolutely. And so, and that's what I've really got into the customs part of the collecting. Now, I like the base figures too. I like them base. I think, there's something there to it, but I just like to see what people do more. Um,
Did
I
you
got
do
another
any
one.
did you
Go
do
ahead.
any customizing before the Mythics? Were you
I did.
into it before?
I used to do plastic models, airplanes, and uh, couple cars. I just found one of them I did when I was 10, and I was looking at told my wife, I was like, yeah, I thought I was really good at it. And you could tell a 10-year-old did it, but I was really proud. It was an
Yeah,
F-14.
absolutely.
Yeah, it was an
Absolutely.
F-14 Tomcat, the
Yeah.
Jolly Rogers, some of the, I love Top Gun and everything. But there was an F4 Phantom I did too that I did much better on. But that was the only customizing. I met Mark, well, I say, Mark called me up one day. I put this on the Cabal maybe 2, 3 months ago, and I did my first custom with him. I had no idea. I didn't have a Mythics. I didn't have anything except I had Dubon. I think that was my first one.
That's a
And
great first figure though.
yeah, well, you know what happened on that? We went to Toylanta, and Ginger Kid Collectibles was right there, and the young man, he's like, "Hey, how you doing?" It was right when we moved in, so it was on my right it was anime, or on my left it was Ginger Kid Collectibles. So I went there and I just stared, and Mark's like, "Oh yeah, dude," the kid's like, "Oh yeah, you like Mythics?" And I was like, I didn't know what was going on. Mark's like, "Dude, if you're gonna buy one, grab this one," because I was like, I think I might buy one. And he put Dubon in my hand, and so I bought him. And then I found another guy. There was so much there. I think
It's
it was,
overwhelming.
yeah,
If you look and there's like a bunch of, you don't know what to pick, you don't know what's, so that was cool that he kind of ushered you like, here, try this,
right.
try something that a real banger, a real
He,
good representation.
yeah, he said start with this one, and then we got separated. Me and a couple of guys. We met Anthony Daniels, took a picture with him. Uh,
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was really cool. But in the meanwhile, I mean, God, they had so many like celebrities there: Cobra Kai, Walking Dead,
Mhm.
uh, Katie Sackhoff. That, in case you don't know, she's my sci-fi crush. I think she's just amazing. And she's watching this.
She's yeah,
Yeah,
that's Starbuck, right? And
yeah.
also
Oh,
Cobra
there you
Kai.
go, Battlestar Galactica,
Yeah,
my
yeah,
boy.
I
There you go.
loved her in that.
Dude,
Yeah.
my number one show of I think that's my top show that I love. Uh, top three always. Starbuck. That's where I met her, and I think she's just absolutely wonderful
It's
there.
a great show, and she was so damn good in that.
Oh,
Yeah,
she
so good.
was. She's so short story. Me and Mark went to Dragon Con in Atlanta around 2013, and that was my first con ever. Whoa, it was crazy. I saw George Takei and all that, and I
Oh
saw
my.
yes, I saw in that same room. I saw Ever James Olmos, and
Oh wow.
they had a lot of the Battlestar crew there, and
Sweet.
Katie Sackhoff was there, and she was absolutely
Do you have the
gorgeous.
hearts in your eyes?
Yes, and this was before like you had to pay just to talk to them. Like
Mhm.
you could get in line and just shake their hand and say, "Hey, love your work."
Yeah.
And Mark's like, go up and say hi to her." And I was like, I was like, no, 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 no. And I missed that chance. But I mean, she had a beautiful smile.
Hmm.
I should have, Ever James almost was there too, and I wanted to talk to him, but I didn't do it. But we did meet Michael Rooker and took a picture with him.
That guy is so damn friendly. I
Isn't
remember
he?
and I was in Minneapolis about 5 years ago, and it was a huge Star Trek convention.
Yeah.
Um, Jonathan Frakes was there, who plays Riker.
Oh, I love Riker.
George Takei was there. I got a picture with William Shatner, Chekhov, the lady Nichelle Nichols was there.
Uh-huh.
Rest in peace. And Rooker, Rooker was a lot of they have like Batista was there. Karen Gilliam, who I have hearts for myself. That she plays Nebula for people that don't
Oh,
know. But
she's I love her work. She's great. I mean, I
yeah.
watched a couple of what is it, the milkshake one? I can't remember the title, but it's on Netflix, I think.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I think we were in line to meet, I think it was, we were meeting somebody. It was either William Shatner or the cast of Guardians of the Galaxy. So we're all waiting in line, and all of a sudden, like people are like, "What?" Like you hear like all these voices. Well, Michael Rooker had just come out and was just like, rubbing elbows with everyone and just absorbing that goodwill and that friendship and that love. And
Yes.
he was just loving it. Like he was checking out people's costumes, and like, people were getting pictures with him, and like he was just like the ambassador of just goodwill and goodness. And it's like I wish that every celebrity was that freaking cool,
Yeah.
just that kind and generous and giving and open, because when you start having that, no, I'm too, don't take a picture of me, I'm not signing. When you start to get that, then it's like, you put up these walls, and I get it's to protect themselves, but
Right.
it's cool if you're an everyman like Michael Rooker and you go out, like people are gonna love you and protect you and look out for you and adore you and stuff. You know what I mean? And it was
Absolutely.
just so cool. I'm like, this guy was already a 10, but like him coming out and like he was doing late lightsaber fights with kids, and just like, meeting the little kids and just being an all around awesome dude, like that 10 to like a 25. I'm like, this guy can do no wrong,
Yeah, he was just done playing Merle. I remember I got the picture. I'll send it to you. And if you can put it on the video, great. If not, you can post it up somewhere. But me and
I could
Mark
put it
were
in the
there.
comments. You can put it in the
Yeah,
comments after.
I got to find it. It's on my phone. But me and Mark, we took a picture with him, and it was only $25. Like now, it's 120 to do it.
Right. It's very monetized. Yeah. I
Yeah.
met who's the guy that plays he was the comedian, Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Oh yes,
Yeah, I
Negan.
met
Yes.
him. Yeah, at in San Diego Comic Con, and he was just so damn cool. Like
Mm-hmm.
he hung out in front of the hotel. This was like it was right after he played the comedian before he did Walking Dead. And
Right.
he was just like no big deal. He was just chill out there. There was a little dog that was on a motorcycle, and like the dog was like just riding around and like taking pictures with people, and he was
Hmm.
just like laughing and just like enjoying, and like, hey man, I liked you in Comedian, you're really good. Oh, thanks bro, thank you man. And it was just like a cool, like, people, they're not on a pedestal, they're the same as you,
Right.
they're just regular people, and they appreciate you appreciating their work. You know what I mean? And I love that. I love when celebrities are that freaking cool.
Absolutely. That's why too. When me and Mark were figuring out like who to take a picture with, I was so happy with choosing the Rook because he was that guy.
The Rook.
Um, I remember, God, need I say his name? He's an artist, and I loved his work. He's done some work with Disney. He's done some statues. He has a very fancy Mary Jane and Spider Man.
Hmm.
Name begins with a J dot something. I don't know if I should say his name, but I remember meeting him at Dragon Con, and I bought some of his prints. And I don't know if he was in a hurry, but he was a jerk. He was an even bigger jerk than Mark, and I remember that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Mark's got a story about one of his artists that who's passed away.
yeah,
And I love this guy's art. But yeah, he had a really bad experience with that artist.
yeah, I
And
had
it
one.
sucks, dude. It
It
sucks. Like
does.
there was a
And I,
guy from the new Star Trek show,
yeah,
who was a very prominent. He was in Mission Impossible. I won't say his name, but he was not nice.
right.
He walked by me like I was like trash, and it's
Yeah,
like you just remember that. It's like okay,
yeah, and I get it. They've got a lot going on. Who knows what anxieties or mental health
right,
issues they got going on. But I was a teacher for 17 years, and one of the things that you do as a teacher is no matter what kind of day that you have, you got to be on for your students
right,
because you never know what they're going through. And it was hard sometimes. I remember going back. My dog. I had a dog. I had two dogs, and one. He was my boy, and I had to go back to work, and the kids had no idea what I was going through because
hmm
I was, I was sad. Like I was, um, and but I still had to put on that face and still be there
right,
and do that
yeah,
for them.
yeah.
And
Because
that's kind of, yeah,
you're putting yourself outside of your, what's going on with you,
right,
for the good of the kids or people. It's like what I'm carrying is what I'm carrying, but that has
right.
nothing to do with you. If I'm having a bad day, or I had a flat tire or whatever, it's like I don't need to take it out on somebody else. And
Yeah.
that's cool that you didn't. Your kids had no idea. I'm sure that you're having one of the worst days.
I think
That
I think one of them picked up on it and say, Austin, they're like, Austin, you okay? I was like, yeah, I'm fine. They're like, where were you yesterday? I was like, my dog died, and they totally got it.
Mhm.
Um, and kids are absolutely amazing at picking things up.
Yes, kids are
Yeah,
very observant. Kids are
yeah.
very observant.
So, it had some good moments too and everything. So, but yeah, I think, I get it. People have bad days, but I'm just reminded, and I hope some of the, I always imagine like, you never know, maybe Katie Sackhoff will watch this episode right here,
Yeah,
or
I
maybe
wish.
the Rook would be like, he'll be like, oh my God, I remember seeing you. It
Yeah,
happens, once in a while. Who knows? They might
yeah,
just pick it up and watch it, and
yeah.
but maybe someone, one of the celebrities or somebody, will remember that too next time they see
And they're
something.
people just like us.
Yeah, yeah.
They get the negative energy and the positive energy from people.
A-
So they're
Absolutely.
just like us.
So
But so Mark, let's get back to Mark too. So Mark kind of guided you back into collecting.
yeah. So I he guided me back into collecting. And God, every time you go out with him, it's he feels I do it to him too. Like I'm like, just get it. I just like just get it.
Enabled. Yeah.
Yeah, enabled is the correct word.
Yeah.
And he there's something about Mark, you pick up on his fever. He doesn't say like, "Oh, get that one." He'll tell you, get that one," but he doesn't push. He's like, "Okay, whatever you want." And
Mhm.
he's like, "Oh, I thought you wanted it." He lets it go, but
Right.
his fever is like a little kid in a candy store. I mean,
Hmm.
he's got that fever, and then you just get going.
Hmm.
And we went to not Toylanta. Was it Toylanta? Gosh, it was something else, and it was our second one. Oh my God, I can't remember it. We went up to Atlanta a second time and met up with our friend oh God, Jason and Dan the Man in Atlanta again. I can't remember where it goes, but I went in, I got to the Mythics table. Oh, it's the one at the hotel. Maybe that was Toylanta, and the first one was Atlanta Comic Con. Okay, correction. Sorry.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Comic Con. Second one was Toylanta at the hotel. And I just straight up went baller and bought like $300, $400.
He told me that. Yeah, he
Yeah.
told me that. He's like, dude, my friend Randall, but like he was saying it almost like a proud parent or like my little brother, you know. But there's something that is so I don't know if it's weird, but it's like
Mm-hmm.
fulfilling when somebody gets it. You know, it's like you know, I've given figures to people, and when they get it, when they're like, oh man, this line is like my friend Fernando. He's like, I wish you would have told me about this, you know, a year ago. And but
Uh-huh.
I do the same thing. Like I have a friend Noah Pratt who's been in the community since the beginning,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, Noah, why didn't you tell me about this? You know, I've known you for 6 years. How come you didn't, you know, get me in a headlock and tell me, hey, buy this figure? You
Yeah.
know, but sometimes that's what it takes. It takes someone to say, hey, stupid, you know, check out this, you know, here's you know, here's a figure, you know, come check it out. You know, even if you don't give it to them, put it in their hand and say, check out this figure, like Dubon or something. It's like,
Yeah.
check
It
it out.
it leaves you wanting more once you see it. And now I think Mythics are a step above when it comes to quality and uniqueness and what they can do. I mean, um, Black Series was always fun, but you know, you don't really kit bash with Black Series.
Mhm.
You take it as is, and Mythics has so many possibilities. I had Dubon, and I forgot. Oh, I had Mephitor. That was the other one I picked up. I
Okay.
ran away from the group, and I was like, I'm going to buy Mephitor because, you know, it was Stinkor who I had growing up. That was one of the
Yes.
He-Man things, and I was like, I got to get it. And Mephitor is in the other, is in one of my DTOFs. Um, but it left me wanting more. And then we get to Toylanta. I met the guys, the some of the horsemen, and I met Jeremy Gerard.
Such great dudes, man. They
Yeah,
are great dudes.
very down to earth, very cool. And it was just like matter of fact. And you know, and I saw Calazir, I the Jin, and I was like, oh my god, I was like, that is the most beautiful thing I've seen. So
Was it open or was it in box?
it was both. They had one that was open
See,
on display.
that's where they
Yep.
get you.
And
That's where they
I
get
was
you.
like, that is the most beautiful figure. And
Yeah.
then I saw Tharnog, and I was like, oh my God. And I just traded that one to Mark.
Yeah.
I traded
Oh,
him.
did you?
I had to find his other horn, and I got it. So I got to get it to him. I traded him for a Templar Knight. And I know people are like, no, no, it's whole different prices, but prices don't really matter. For me,
If you're
it's like,
happy, yes.
yes. And I wanted a Templar Knight, and I got a few others. I can't remember off the top of my head because I had like 6 or 7. Oh, I know. I got the two big guys, the blue dragon guy and the demon guy
Rakagor
that lights up with the black light. And my kids were
as
going nuts.
Zazar, as Zazar,
Yes, as a Hazar. I can,
something
and
like that.
yeah, it's not that I don't remember the names. It's just that I don't remember the names all the time. So,
Right.
but I added to my collection. I came home. My wife was like, "Oh, cool," you know. And they're in a DTOF right now, and I think I got a few others, and I picked up a few other vintage things. But yeah, it's just like I gotta have it. And when we went to the Stone Mountain meetup, I probably would have bought more. I only bought like one or two because the ones they had I already had, and I almost bought Cosmics. Oh, I was just like, ooh,
Mm,
okay. I was like, oh, okay. How do I do this? Because the other thing that I collect a lot of is hot toys. Um,
I love the hot toys, man.
yes.
I am a fan. They're just premium. They're just I
Oh, is
mean,
that Elena or is
yeah,
that? Oh
yeah,
my
it's Elena.
god! Ah, dude.
If you love action figures, like these are like the Mercedes Benz
Yes.
of action figures. You know, they're just top of
We
the line, incredible.
Yes. At one point, I had like oh God, 8 or 9. I've sold a lot of mine. I
They
had
keep
this
their
rule.
value.
Yeah, I had this rule with collecting is when I love it and I gotta have it, I get it. And when I don't have that gotta have it feeling anymore, I'm okay to sell it, and I'll
Mm-hmm.
sell it and get something else that I gotta have. That's just how I look at it.
Yeah.
I do sometimes, like if I know I got a couple figures that I bought, Hot Toys, that are worth something more, I'll sell it. And
Right.
yeah, and I had a Marty McFly I sold, I think, and but the thing too is you actually when you sell them on eBay, some of the guys, oh look at that, he looks good.
Yeah. They're great figures, dude.
They are. It's a whole nother level, and I love replicas and things that model the real world. And
Mhm.
I mean, hey, who doesn't want to own a little bit of Scarlett Johansson or something? You know what I mean? Not to sound creepy, but
No, it's like
uh,
if you love the character in the
yes,
movie, it's like
absolutely,
why not? You're getting the best version.
yes,
This one, she needs a little hair gel.
yes,
But
that's
yeah,
it.
they're just so much fun, dude. They're so
Yeah,
much fun.
Captain Rex, Commander Cody, like the Bad Batch. And let me tell you what I did. I bought Crosshair, then the
Very
finale comes out, and
Crosshair's hot. Crosshair's
dude,
very hot.
I had it brand new, unopened, sold it for 500. 2 weeks later, Mark's like, dude, you got that Crosshair? I was like, no, why? He's like, it just sold for 1,500. I was like, God bless. And I've got Wrecker, I've got Tech, I've got them all except I sold my Echo. I'm gonna rebuy that one. He's still regular, and at some point I'll get another Crosshair. But I love the Batch. Speaking of the
I
Batch,
just finished watching that
oh,
series.
did you love it?
Oh man, it was just so emotional and good. The only thing I was telling my stepson, it's like I just kind of bum out because it's over after what 3 seasons.
Yeah,
Clone Wars had 7.
I wanted to do yes, and I want to do more seasons. And my thought was kill them off one each season. They killed Tech. and, I thought they were going to kill him off little by little, but the new guy came in and he put an end to a lot of the Star Wars. And I get it; it's about that money. Speaking of which, I want to show you this real quick.
Yeah, what you got?
Mark Thomas again with that's the.
Oh no,
You remember the Warhammer figures?
yeah,
I gotta put the gun in his hand. He took a Warhammer figure and he customed it. I'm just gonna take the gun off.
it looks just like Wrecker.
Yeah, that's who he modeled it off of.
Wow, I had not seen that. Mark did that.
Yes, he did that. Yeah. It's a one of a kind. It's on sale for $2,000. No, I'm just
Okay,
kidding. But
yeah, for sure.
even the backpack, matches up. I know it's kind of hard
Yeah,
to see, but he had asked me
Wrecker.
about it, blew my mind, and I saw it. That's one of my favorite pieces, if not my favorite piece of all
Yeah,
time that he's done. So, but I love the batch, and but again the collecting. I've got a Ligier here. I've got a bunch over just sitting. There's just something that connects you to it, and that's where my favorite pieces are, the customs. And that's I got some of Mark there, and no
right,
matter where Mark goes, I've got his inspiration there,
right, right.
and I
Yeah,
love that.
little
Yeah.
piece of him. And so now you're getting into the custom because I've seen you just showed
Yeah.
us. Yeah. So what have you got that you've been working on?
This is my first one. I don't know how the lighting is. This is the one. This one's on the Cabal. I shared it with everybody. He is, I forgot what his base was, but I gave him a real rusted type look. I got a little
Nice.
projector light on it, but you can see how I bronzed it up a little bit.
Yeah.
I gave him a backstory. His name's Ravnok the Jawless. He was on the battlefield with his unit, and I think what I said was that he got like hit in the he got hit by one of the good guys, knocked his whole jaw off, and now he spends his time in the army seeking revenge by taking whatever weapon and just knocking people's jaws off. So I did a couple that I think they're there in the other room. I did an elephant head custom, and I did a Dubon body with this other head custom that I got from Greg Cook. And those are like back there somewhere. They're not my best work, but it's like each time I get better and better doing it.
Yes,
So I go,
it's a
I go
learning
over,
thing.
yeah, I go over to Mark's house, bring my stuff, and we just sit and we talk and just do it while we're doing it. And
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun.
he sent me a picture of you guys working. I was like jealous. I'm like, I'm driving to work and you guys are relaxing and painting and having a great time. And I was
Yeah.
just like, oh man, I wish I was there. That just sounds like so much fun. I do want to mention to you before I forget, Customizing Studio every Sunday at 1 p.m. Curtis Ackerman, who is like a
Yes,
pillar of the community, puts on the Customizing Studio, and it is so much damn fun. And you
I
gotta
saw
check
that.
it out. You gotta check it out.
I was actually looking at that and thinking about jumping on at some point because I remember when they started doing it a little while ago, and I kept seeing it.
Mhm.
But yeah, I might have to do that.
Yeah,
Um,
I recommend it. I'm not a customizer at all. Like I'm
mhm.
working on one. Me and my friend Terrence have been wanting to do a custom. Like he's doing the same custom that I'm doing, and we're kind
Is
of
that
gonna like,
Terrence St. John?
yeah, Terrence St. John,
Yeah,
Lynn point 2.0.
yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Great guy. And he's waiting for me. Like he finished his custom like a month ago, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm working on it. But the customizing studio is so cool because there's so many different levels of people's experience or expertise. I'm in there like watching like, what are you guys working on, what are you working on, but just seeing the greatness that comes out of the creativity, the raw creativity is amazing to behold.
Yeah, it's a very positive, encouraging environment
Mm,
as well.
it is.
I'm on the Cabal a lot in terms of reading. I don't post a lot, but you see a lot of the guys on there and girls. Yeah, it's not just guys; it's girls too.
Mhm.
But there's a lot of positivity, a lot of encouragement, and that's what I really like about that as well. And again, it comes back to that connection with people, through the figures. Yeah, I think that's one of the big things, and it's not all just the Cabal. It's the figures wherever they go. Uh, and you run into them. You start to I start to recognize people. You know, uh, Jordan from Purple Gang. You got to
Yes,
talk to him. He's a really cool guy.
great guy. Yeah,
And
both of them are great guys.
yeah, and they were there, and you know, I always think, if these guys could be out doing bad stuff, they could be out doing drugs, robbing people and stuff, but instead their energy is focused in this area of positivity, and just
Absolutely.
good stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, they're ambassadors of
right.
just goodness,
Yeah.
and that attracts me to them, and that type of those type of people, and there's a lot of guys like that, and girls. I want to say
Hmm.
guys, I mean everybody, but
Right.
a
Yeah.
lot of people. um um it's just this community has just a huge collection of people that have just goodwill, that are generous. If you post like, hey, I'm looking for a sword, and you'll get 3 or 4 people that are like, what's your address? i
Right.
got I got you. And it's just everyone is paying everybody forward.
Hmm.
And just that type of just goodness is so enthralling and attractive to me, and it makes me want to be better, like we were talking about, the endorphins of doing good and giving and all that. It's like you're feeding your soul. If you believe in that, you're feeding your soul by sharing in that goodness and giving and paying forward and stuff. And I just love it.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things. I mean, all that from a $35 figure, that's where it starts. And I know there's some guys out there, they're not just, you know, they're writing stories about it. They're creating from it. And
Yes.
so the show is called New to Mythics. My big collections are mostly Mythics now and Hot Toys and Star Wars helmets. But yeah, like I think one of the things that keeps me collecting is the community. That's part of why I keep going back. I mean, God, we just did a in stock sale to yesterday.
Yesterday, yeah.
God, I balled out again. I didn't ball out as much. I didn't get the skeletons, but I got my first half giant coming in, along with a few other
Nice. You were
things.
gonna dig it.
Yeah,
They're all great figures, but there's some bangers that are extra bang, and
right.
the half giant is good for
Yeah,
sure.
I'll say this. This is probably the first line of collecting that I've had where I didn't feel like I wanted to sell anything on eBay to make a profit or anything.
Mhm.
Because I do that. I do that with my hot toys and other stuff.
Oh yeah, I do
Yeah.
too. I have a good time. Like I will get on Mercari, and
Hmm.
I had a Mafex Terminator. That's a really nice figure. I never opened it, never got around to it, and I'm like, that's a beautiful figure,
Right.
but I don't want it, and so
Yeah.
I'll just turn around it and I'll sell it. And it's fun, and it also feeds. I'm like, I could get 2 mythics for that.
Oh, so I have a group of guys. That's the ones we went to the convention with. Dan, Jason, and Mark. We always had this inside joke, like, for one Hot Toys, I can buy 3 Mythics or something like that, or
Mhm.
3 Joes or whatever. One
Right?
guy, but yeah, it like translates. If I can sell this guy for this much, ooh, I
Yeah.
can get this many new Mythics, and that's kind of one of the things that I think about too.
Right.
Um,
Yeah. I'm
yeah.
glad that you're part of the community. And I'm grateful that I don't mean to sound condescending to anybody, but I'm glad that you get it, like
Hmm.
about the community. It's like some people see it as just like a Facebook group,
Right.
but other people really get it that it's more than that. It's a friendship, it's a community, it's a congregation of like-minded good people that love the toy line, but also really get something out of um, the group of good people that are like-minded. And
Yeah.
I dig it, and I'm glad that you're part of it.
Yeah, I'm glad to be part of it. It's there's always a couple people in there you're like, okay, dude, you don't need to be in this group.
They
And I
they You see them though, like it's almost like they stick out.
Yeah.
Like somebody will comment something. There was something yesterday, and somebody posted it, and it's like obvious, that you're not. And I don't mean to sound cultish, and I've heard people compare the cabal as a cult or white knights or something, and I'm going to get on my pedestal for a second and say
Hmm.
it's not that. It's we are friends with the studio. If you're honest, and if you're good, and if you care about this toys, and you meet, like you met Jeremy and some of the guys in the studio, they're super nice, good people. And if you keep seeing them and talking to them, you become friends, and they remember you. And hey, how have you been? How it's good to see you. And it's like, it's not a it's not a corporation, it's not a company anymore. It's a group of friends.
Yeah.
Like the studio, they could be your friends. They're just like you. They're fans. They love toys. They love action figures. They love collecting. And so it's not a Hasbro. It's not a Mezco. It's like guys and girls that are just like us. And so when they're in the cabal, and they're out there, it's like, I'm not seeing Four Horsemen Studio as just another toy company that makes toys. I see them as these people that care, that will will have a sale that lasts a month, so that people can get what they want, in their payday. It's like,
Hmm.
they'll have a figure obscura on a Friday, and then have it again on a Saturday, or they'll release figures that have sold out, and they'll release more just so people can get, like, that. To me, shows that you care. And
Yeah.
so there's a face to this company, or faces of people that are, they're just like us. They care. They're just good people. So
Yeah,
Rant's over. Sorry.
no, I think that's good. As like I was you know, I'm surprised to hear people say that it's like a cult because you can be as much in the group as you want or as little as you want. There's nothing cultish about it. I think it's just a collection of people who share uh, more than a love for action figures, but maybe a love of community, and
Yes.
who, in many cases, make themselves vulnerable to each other. You
Mhm.
know, I think I've mentioned vulnerability a lot, but I think that's what really makes it work. You get the idea that the four horsemen are genuine and appreciative of you not only liking their stuff but doing the kit bashing, the customizing,
Mhm.
and even purchasing. I mean, you get the idea. Like when you purchase, like it's a real genuine like, man, thank you so much. And
Yes.
I remember
Yes.
I remember
Yes.
ringing up like when I was, you know, when I balled out, I was like, they were genuinely like, yeah, like very like cool. Like there was just something real about it.
Yes.
And I'm not trying to sound sappy or anything, but I think what you get is a group of people who genuinely love what they do and love the people that
Right.
are part of what they do. And I think that's where they get it right. Um, even, you know, you talk to Purple Gang guys. I mean, you know, when I talked to Jordan, I remember like he genuinely wanted to talk
Mhm.
and get to know me, right? So you can go right now to San Diego Comic Con. Go up to the. I'm sorry, I'm going to throw Hasbro out there, but go up to them. I want you to introduce yourself to the person and talk to them. They likely won't remember you,
Right.
and maybe it's because Mythics is smaller. Maybe it's something, but I genuinely think that it's because the people in it are just
100%.
that type of
Yeah.
person,
And I
and
think that they're glad. I think they're happy to be that smaller guy. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Yes, of course, everyone wants to make money and everyone wants to be successful. But I think that they do all these cons so that they can meet a Randall and a Greg, you know,
right,
and a Mark, and they can see firsthand, you know, that we dig this cool shit that they're making, and we dig them, and they dig us, and it's just a cool synergy thing, you know. And then people start, you know, they like to see people creating stuff like you know,
oh,
you're taking these figures and you're creating something amazing.
you
You know.
know, when I posted Ravnok's picture, Jeremy Gerard was one of the first ones
Mhm.
to comment on it. You know, it was like legit. You know, I mean, um, it's just really down to earth in that sense. And yeah, but I agree with you, man. It's yeah, and you know, let's look at this, right? So I wasn't into it at first, and now I'm into it. You know, through Mark, and now I've met you,
Mhm.
and I've got another friend up in Jersey that is hopefully going to jump in with us. He's going to
Mhm.
be at Legion's Con with us. Great guy, and then you'll get to meet him.
Yeah, I look
And
forward to meeting you.
yeah, and these are people that you because I met a few others. Big Dub, I met him. Jordan,
Jordan.
a
Yeah.
couple other guys that I've seen on YouTube. Greg Cook. These are like people that we would have never connected had
Right.
it not been for a simple $35 purchase, you know, is where it
Exactly.
starts.
It's pretty
So
incredible, I think.
yeah. And
Yeah,
I think it's yeah, I think that's kind of one of those things, and everybody has something to contribute. So
I agree. Whether
yeah.
it's just goodwill and friendship, or whether it's
Mhm.
customs, whether it's printed, you know, parts,
Yeah.
um, it's or even writing lore, or telling stories, or you know,
Uh-huh.
showing off their customs.
Or the
It's
creation
all good.
of
Yes,
the creation of a YouTube show. Boom.
that's all I can do. That's
Yeah.
all I can do.
I
But
mean,
I thank you so much, dude.
yeah.
I know it's getting past your bedtime. It's getting late Saturday night. I know you got little ones and stuff, and I will wrap it up now. But I hope that you will come back. Maybe we can wrangle Mark on, and have both you guys on at the same time.
Yeah,
Uh,
we'll definitely have to do one of those shows, and we'll have to, yeah, I definitely yeah, definitely love to come on more and
For
talk
sure.
more. Who knows? I work from home now, so my schedule is a lot
Nice.
more often, a lot more easier, a lot more flexible. Hell, I mean, when we get to Legions Con, we definitely got to do a live show or something there.
Absolutely. It's in
Um,
the works.
yeah,
We're figuring things out already. We're already talking about it.
definitely.
Mark,
You
you know
guys are gonna
Mark.
be, yeah,
Mark's got, he's got fires going. That guy is,
he does. So,
yeah.
but you guys are going to IshCon next week, right?
IshCon next week.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. In a number of days we'll be there. This is
Gotcha.
gonna actually be aired after. So this
Gotcha.
episode won't be watched until like probably mid to late August.
That sounds good.
So we will be back already. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, and I look forward to it. In a few months, we'll be rubbing elbows
I
at
know. I'm
Legion's
looking
Con.
forward
So
to it.
it's going to
I
be a
think
blast.
it'll be awesome, man. I'm looking forward to seeing you at Legion's Con. I had fun doing the show. I hope I didn't over talk you or
No,
anything.
I talked your ear off. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, man, I enjoyed
My
it.
dog says, wrap it up. All right, Nolan. I will wrap it up. But it's super great talking to you, Randall. I know we've been planning it for a bit, and I appreciate you being spontaneous and jumping on and taking a little bit of your time Saturday night. I appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, my pleasure, man. I'm glad I could do it.
Yeah. Thank you. And thank you to those that have subscribed and like and watch. And I always appreciate feedback. If anyone has any ideas on making the show better, other than me not being on the show, I will take any other suggestions.
No, here's my suggestion, Greg. Is you should keep doing the show, man, because I think you asked like some real questions and it's real down to earth and it's fun. Like it's real. And I think that's what works for this
The
show.
conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I have a
like
good time.
legit talk. So love it.
Thanks, man. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
We'll do it again.
Oh, absolutely.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for your time. And I will see you later.
All right.
Talk
Later.
to you soon.
I see you in the toy aisle, right? Isn't that what I
You're
said?
right. Yeah, that's what Mark says. I'll see you in the toy. I need a cool outro line.
I
I
know.
don't
We'll
know
have
what
to
it
come
is.
up with something.
I have one.
Yeah.
Remember, friends, to always have fun, be curious, share, and enjoy what this line has to offer. Come for the toys, but stay for the friends. Good night, and thank you very much.